Hello. You probably heard a lot about generative AI. It seems to be just about everywhere. And with all of the discussion, it can be a little unclear what it actually is, and more importantly, where it fits.
We often see it used to create new text. Things like emails or articles.
And we also see it used to create images from just a few words of description. So, it's clear it can do a lot, but where does it actually fit inside a larger system? In this Foreview, we'll try to answer that very question.
So, let's start with the basics. To understand where it fits, we first need a very simple definition.
At its core, generative AI is a type of AI that is designed to create new content. That content could be text or images or even sound. Its main purpose is simply to produce something that didn't exist before.
And that's really what makes it different from other kinds of AI. You see, many AI systems are built to analyze things or to help make decisions. Generative AI, though, is built to create.
This leads to a really useful way to think about it. It's a creator, not a controller. It generates content when it's asked to, but it doesn't actually run the system that it's a part of.
So how does this work in practice? Let's look at the high-level flow of a system to see where generative AI fits in. It's usually a simple three-step process. First, a request is made. Second, the generative AI creates the content for that request. And third, the larger system takes that content and then acts on it.
You can see that generative AI doesn't manage the whole process. It fits very neatly into just one part, the creation stage. It does its job, and then other parts of the system take over from there.
To make this a little more concrete, let's walk through a simple, real-world example, writing an email to a customer.
So the process starts when a person asks the system for some help. In this case, the request is for a polite email response.
This is where generative AI does its specific job. It produces the words, the tone, and the structure of the email. It creates the draft.
But once that draft is ready, the system takes over. It might check for errors, or maybe ask for a final approval before anything is sent. The generative AI handled the creation, not the final decision.
Now that we understand its role, we can take a balanced look at its strengths and also its limitations.
On the one hand, it has some pretty clear strengths. It's fast, it can create content in seconds. It's also flexible, since it can generate many different versions, and it lowers the effort needed for creative tasks.
However, there are some really important limits to keep in mind. For one, it doesn't understand the real-world meaning or the consequences of a request. It's just following patterns it has seen before.
And another very important limitation is that its output can sound perfectly correct, but be factually wrong. It doesn't understand what is true. It only understands what words are likely to come next in a sentence.
So, these limitations help us see its proper role. Generative AI works best as a support layer. It's a powerful tool to help people, but it is not a final authority on anything.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of the core idea we've discussed.
If you remember just one thing, let it be this. Generative AI is a content creation capability that fits inside AI systems. It's not a system that runs on its own.
And understanding that difference is really the key. When you know its specific role, it becomes much easier to use the technology well and to stay aware of its limits.
And that brings us to the end of our brief Foreview. We hope this has provided some clarity on what generative AI is and where it fits. Thank you.